Welcome back, everybody, to another live edition of the OHIO Podcast Monday Night Call-In Show. I am your host, the Wildman, Chris Wilds. Now, before we get things fired up on the phone lines, make sure you are smashing that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, we are up to 4,100. We want to get another 100 this month. So let's make sure we're hitting that subscribe button. As I said, if you have not already, ring that bell so you don't forget when we drop new content. And then, of course, if you love what we do here, please consider becoming an official member of the OHIO Pod Squad family. It's only $3.99 a month, and you get some great benefits, including a free t-shirt after your first renewal. You get the free shipping from the online store. You also are going to get free access to our digital access to our preview magazine, which will be coming out shortly. Now, we are the official podcast of Scarlet and Game and Fansided, so be sure to head over to scarletandgame.com and check out tons of great articles written by many tremendous journalists, such as our very own Buckeye Boggs, the man who bleeds scarlet and gray and writes like a warrior. And folks, make sure you know that we are also honored to be the voice of the College Huddle. That's right, the College Huddle, where over 80 teams across this country get together to talk college football on a podcast format. You go over to the Huddle, you can find a podcast for nearly everybody that is anybody in college football. All right, Buckeye Nation. Now that the business is taken care of, just let me tell you, the phone lines are open and they are hopping already. Looks like we got 3 in queue. Guys, tonight, I'm looking for lots of callers. I want new callers. So if you haven't called in before, please consider giving us a call. The number, which should have been scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but of course, I did not get it there, is going to be there momentarily. So make sure that you go ahead and call that number. We want to talk to you tonight. We're going to try to keep our calls to 10, maximum 12 minutes, because I'd like to get as many callers in here as possible tonight. And guys, tonight, we are going to give away a little gift. The Wild Man here is going to dig into his autograph collection, and we are going to send out a Buckeye autograph to one of our lucky callers tonight. Whoever gives us the best call of the night, we are going to be getting that autograph out to you. So, real quick before we light up them phones, looks like we have a very, very busy chat. We got Steely Matt in the chat already. Our boy Tyler's up in there. Lacey, great to see you again as always. Aaron's up in the chat. We got Eric posing as the College Huddle up in the chat tonight. We got Buck Vader in the chat. We have, oh man, Sean, the Schrockster. Schrock, sorry I didn't get back to you, man. I got really caught up there at the store tonight, and it really kind of held me up. Definitely want to give you a call here later. But guys, phone lines are open. We now got 4 on hold, so we are going to go to our first call. And it looks like the first call we got tonight is possibly a new caller. So here we go. Hi, caller. Who do I have on the line?
It's Lacey.
Lacey, how's it going?
It's going good.
Oh, yeah. You know, I think this is the first time I have had the privilege of having you call in here, which is really
Yes, I
awesome.
had to call in tonight. I love you guys. I just wanted to call in and just say hi. I'm not going to jam up the phone lines. I just wanted to say hey.
Well, hey, we appreciate the call for sure. So there's got to be something on your mind tonight. What are you excited about for this season? What are you most worried about for this season?
Oh,
Or are you just excited for what may or may not happen this weekend? Because
I
we've got
am
June 6th
so
and 7th coming.
excited. Oh, the team up north, the hammer's coming for you.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you got a chance to see the video that Eric and Sean did or not. Tremendous video they did earlier today.
Yes.
And
Great
that
video.
fan base, so absolutely delusional. They are just
They're
absolutely
like in a
insane.
different reality. They're in a different reality.
They are. And in that reality,
Oh,
apparently, consequences do not exist. And it sounds like Ryan Day's brother is at fault for, well, everything. That's
oh. I love you, Ryan Dave's brother.
absolutely. Yeah. I'm telling you, it cracks me up that they just, they are so
Oh,
oblivious. So
Chris, they're
oblivious.
going down. They're
Oh,
going down.
they're they're going down like a fat kid on a cupcake, and who would know better than me?
Yes,
Let me tell you.
yes. You're
So
killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
that's right. That's right. Now see now that's our boy Eric's movie right there. I'm not as big a fan as of the same lot as Eric is, but you know what? Great
I
line.
know.
Great line.
Right. I'm not going to plug up the lines, but I wanted to call in and say hi. And I love everybody in chat. And go Buckeyes. And the Hammer's coming, team up north.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, Lacey. Don't be a stranger.
I'm not.
You have
Have
a
fun,
great night and
Chris.
enjoy the chat.
You too, sweetie. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. All right. So that was Lacey. And you know what? Lacey, I'm really glad you called. First time that I've had the opportunity to speak with you. We always see you in the chat and we love what you do in the chat. We love your support. So thank you so much. Now, guys, I hope you're ready because it was hot outside, but things are really about to heat up in here. And why do I say that? Because we have the official Wolverine Slayer on the line. That's right. Let's get her on in here. Wolverine Slayer, how's it
Oh,
going?
baby. Oh, it's going great, Wildman. How things going for you?
Oh man, I am going. It's so good right now. It is just so good. This is my first summer I've ever had off, and I I'm not really off because I've been working a little bit at the store, but I'll tell you, it's been nice. Took my son golfing this morning, and it was a beautiful day here in sunny, gorgeous Ohio. Now here it's gonna be like near 90 the next couple days, so that's a little frightening, but it's okay. But hey, I'm pumped. We are roughly 4 days out from the beginning of the end for the scum. We are roughly 90
Yep.
days out from the start of our football season.
Oh, yeah.
The defense of the title is coming. I'm telling you, we're going to run this one back. And again, I may sound like a gigantic hypocrite for saying that, but I don't care. That's right. Brian Day had lost my faith, but he regained it all with that championship run. All and then some.
Yep.
I was wrong, and I'm man enough to admit it. Unlike certain fans and
Some
certain
scumbags up
coaches.
north.
That's right. So, TG, what's on your mind tonight, as if I don't already know?
Yeah, I mean, we could start off with the video because I watched it and I said, oh, I am so going to put this on our next show. Because I'm going to say this is Wolverine guy. You are so lucky I was not on that show with Sean and Eric because I would have went in 10 toes down on you for the stupid stuff you done said. I can't believe, like, again, y'all are flat freaking delusional. Just delusional. Y'all are just dumb people. I don't get it. Like, seriously, you got Birch, who actually can stand 10 toes down, who can legit tell it how it is and will literally ransack his program for doing stupid stuff like this. But yet you got dumb people like whoever that Michigan fan is, legit just being dumb. It's like at some point y'all gotta shut up because you're really just making it work for your program in every facet of the way. And it's like, what are we up to today? What is wrong with y'all?
I got no idea what is wrong with these fools. I really don't. And the Michigan likes to hold themselves as intelligent, almost Ivy League. They are so pretentious, so obnoxious, and the fan base is just they think they are so above. And like Eric says, we got most of them who can't form a complete sentence. They really are the University of Dumb.
They
TG.
really can't.
They are a bunch
Yeah, I mean,
of
it's like I
delusional
said before. You
morons.
cannot. It's like we said before. You can't spell dumb without um. You just can't.
That's right. That is 100% right. And I wish, I just wish they would come to reality. That is my thing. I would love for
Again,
them
you
to
got
just
that
have a
1% of
reality check.
you got that 1% that got common sense. It's the 99% where it's like, is there any saving them at this point? Because again, we talk about, like, people talk about autistic kids. I'm sorry, you got autistic kids who got better intellect out of themselves than these morons do. You got freaking, trust me, autistic kids are actually intellectuals. They just learn differently than everybody else. I would know. But then you also talk about how these guys, they argue like sixth graders. Dude, I've seen sixth graders who are capable of having intelligent conversation and arguments. Unlike these buffoons. Like, seriously, you got infants that got smarter brains in them than these 99% of Michigan scum fan morons.
Yeah, let me tell you, TG, I work with kids every day, and these guys wouldn't last 5 minutes going around with some of these kids that I work with. I'm telling you, these kids would put them in their place. It's
Yeah.
It's sad.
They really would.
It's sad. These guys
It is.
are college a lot of them are college educated folks who you would think could take and put the logic, take the scenario, look at it logically, and understand stupidity happened, mistakes were made, but you know what? They always say it. Sunlight is the best cure. Just open it up and just, let the light in. Just accept.
If any of them actually go outside and actually touch the grass.
Yeah, embrace it.
If any of them actually go outside and touch the grass, if they actually just get out and go touch the grass. But that's neither here nor there. And like I said, I don't hate all Michigan fans. Like I said, there are some that are cool with. It's just that you got the majority that I hate because of how stupid they are. And it's like, you fail to have common sense and you just aren't realistic. Again, we talk about it all the time with the tattoo thing. Because while I disagree with the punishments that were given to Ohio State, because I think they were a little too harsh, given the fact it's tat freaking twos, I don't disagree with the fact they should have gotten punished. Because you broke the rules when it was the rules at the time. Like, Ohio State definitely deserved punishment for that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely they did. They broke the rules at the time. Now, even though it is stupid, again, in today's day and age, it would get laughed at. But at the time, you broke the rules and you got punished for it, and Ohio State accepted it. No doubt about it.
Yep.
But it's like, with these scum fans, it's like, what are we on today? Again, just accept it. Understand your program will get punished.
Yeah, and that's one of me and Eric go round and round about that. That's one of our biggest arguments is when we bring up Tattoo Gate, because he is very forgiving and he looks at it as silly. And I do agree the rule was silly, but it was still the rule. And I kind of come down where you do, TG. If you broke the rule when it was a rule, you pay the consequences. And Ohio State manned up. They did. They paid the consequences. Jim Tressel paid the consequences. Terrell Pryor and the other players involved paid the consequences. Sadly, Urban Meyer,
absolutely,
Luke Fickell, they got stuck paying the consequences as well. Because Luke Fickell had to try to clean up the mess, and then Urban got the bowl ban. In a year where he would have won the national title.
They tried to institute a bowl ban in the beginning, and the NCAA told them not to because they thought they were in the clear for that one. But if I was Gene Smith, I still would have done it. I don't care. Especially on a 6 and 7 season, I still would have done it. I would have went full on.
2011. I wouldn't have done that to that 2012 team. I mean, you had a 6 and 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You take that hit there. Yeah, that Gene Smith's a whole show you could get me going on TG, because while he did great things for the Olympic sports program, while he did great things raising money, he really screwed up things with the football team and the men's basketball program. He really screwed
I'll
the
say
pooch
this
on them.
with the football team. Here's the thing. He's done some good things with the football team, starting with hiring the right coaches. He actually did a good job to keep this football team from becoming anything like scum or any of these other lower tier programs. So that's the biggest thing he did right. The things that he got wrong with the football program starts with the turf, because don't even get me started with the turf. Don't even get me started with that. The turf, the NIL, and how he handled things. With the basketball program, again, Chris Holtman was a good hire for the first set of years, but you should have seen that coming. Like, you have to continue seeing progress. You can't just sign him to a long-term deal because you see how some of these coaches could fall off to the nth degree. So with the basketball program, you really messed up the hiring. Like, again, with the football program, you got it right. How you get it wrong with basketball, I have no idea. But it is what it is. So, you have to just deal with it and hope that. And again, I really do hope Jake Diebler to have some success. I do.
I do too.
I hope he can, but it's like, I really wish they hired Dusty May. I think it would have been better for Ohio State if they hired Dusty May instead of Jake Diebler. And I say this because he is a successful coach who has all the experience, who would have brought our basketball team back to the promised land. Like, I hope Jake Diebler can become like Ryan Day, where he's this guy that can save the basketball program, take us all the way, and hey, he can maybe win us our first NCAA basketball championship in how many years this has been?
Well,
I know 60, it was before I was born.
64, I think it was. It was back in the early to mid-60s.
Long before I was born. So. Yeah, so it's long before I was born. So, like, hopefully he could do that, because I would like to see one Ohio State basketball natty in my lifetime, at least one.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I had a very big problem with Gene Smith on how he handled things with Urban, how he handled things with Tress, how he handled things with, just the not giving when it was time for Urban to move on. He didn't even give Luke Fickell a call, and this is after Fickell's, done some fabulous things down at Cincinnati. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful we got Ryan Day. But he burned bridges. He didn't even give Fick a call. And that bothered me. You didn't have to hire him.
I can understand that.
Give him an interview. He had earned that for living through 2011.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was both Urban and Gene Smith who agreed on the fact that they wanted Ryan Day, because here's the reason. They didn't want anything to change. So both Urban and Gene Smith wanted Ryan Day to be the head coach. And little behold, did you turn out to be right. I love Fickell. I wish he did get the call, I'm not going to lie. But I'm actually glad they hired Ryan Day, and just instead of delaying it, again, Urban pretty much knew with Ryan Day. He could see it in Ryan Day. That guy's a head coach for the Buckeyes. And boy, did he turn out to be right.
Yeah, absolutely. Roy James chimed in, TG, and he let us know that 1960 was the last basketball championship.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So, yeah,
I've seen it. So it was when my grandma was like still somewhat of a kid.
Yeah. So, and our buddy Buck Vader's in the chat going on about Tattoo Gate, and saying it was unconstitutional because they had sold their own property. Constitutional does not apply to
it is. Here's what I will say, because I actually agree with both you and Eric on similar sides. Well, because I agree with Eric as far as every point that he made. But yep. I agree with you as far as, because they broke the rules at that point in time, they deserve to get punished. And I think the NCAA did it too harshly, but it's agreed upon. And I'm not going to lie, it's pretty much true. Like, because it's their property, they can do whatever the heck they want with it. And they're in a Buckeye town giving away jerseys like as if this is nothing new. Like, players do this. And again, it's kind of funny how you do this with Ohio State, but what be going on with the SEC is my question. Like, stuff was going on in the SEC. What was you doing? So that'd be my thing. I agree with you and Eric on both sides, because, again, they still broke the rules. They deserve to get punished, but it was quite frankly stupid. And it's something for them to get in trouble for is within their own property, something they own.
Yes.
Still pretty stupid. But also, you got stuff going on down south where you have people, like, for instance, what really be making some people kick this off was the whole Terrell Pryor and his whole car. And I'm like, okay, have y'all gone down to Bama and seen all these players down to Alabama get driving these fancy-ass cars? Sorry for the cussing, but just being honest. But
Okay.
have you not seen that?
Well, you know what?
Have you seen that? Like, Nick Saban owns half of the car dealership. So, like, how are you not paying attention to that?
Let me tell you, if you've ever watched the movie Blue Chips, that is very representative of SEC recruiting prior to NIL. Make no mistake about it. That is like SEC recruiting.
Yeah.
So.
Which, you know what, it even ties me to the SEC, because here's my thing. What is this whole thing, whining and crying you doing about the whole 8 games, and more importantly, the fact that you don't want to play, that you want to not play a ninth game, and you're giving out a whole packet dating back to 10 years about we have the toughest schedule, where this and y'all that, when we all know the only reason, no offense, I'm not trying to disrespect the SEC when I'm saying this, but the only reason that you actually won anything was because you were paying players under the table before it was legal. Again, Jimbo Fisher knows this. Nick Saban knows this. I mean, he literally said it out of his own mouth that NIL and the SEC was a thing before it was ever legal. So, no offense, I'm just saying that. So I don't get what they're doing with that one. And I'm going to ask our guests about that on the next show, because it's going to be a very special one.
Yes, yes. And TG, I do have to run here shortly because I do have a full queue, but why don't you tell us about tomorrow night's show, because you got an exciting guest.
Yep, tomorrow night's show, everybody, will feature none other than Alabama podcaster, fans, and a guy who's hated by Michigan fans, and Kangaroo Black will be our guest this Tuesday, tomorrow night. You guys will ask them all the questions regarding about Alabama, Kellen DeBoer, the SEC, basically the whole thing with their 8-9 game whole thing with the Big Ten, that whole packet that came out. And if he knows nothing about that, we can also skip to also talking about the debate of the century, because of Ohio State and Bama are two programs discussed as the two best programs of all time and two of the best programs of the century. We're going to be discussing a lot. And of course, you know, we're going to be talking about scum and really hitting home on these guys. You know for a fact we are.
And I'll tell you, TG, just a little kind of teaser. Your co-host Sean and I are going to be dropping a video here later this week that also is going to have a little something to do with, has some, not really something to do with, but has some ties to an SEC program as well as several Big Ten programs. So that's something that he and I are going to work on. So yeah, keep an eye out for that coming later this week as well.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. You know for a fact I'm going to be paying attention. I'm going to be looking at that video.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for the call, TG. I got to move on. I got a full bank, but hey, OH.
IO. Go Buckeyes.
All right. That was the Wolverine Slayer herself, TG. And guys, make sure you check out TG and Sean every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the Buckeye Lounge. All right. Next up, looks like we got our boy Tyler calling in. Tyler, sir, how's it going?
It's great, Chris. It's great.
Yeah.
So, I was doing some thinking today, Chris. And you know how we got all up? I had an epiphany, and I realized us Buckeye fans can't be like. I know we were mad about the Texas game being a noon game, but now looking at it from a new perspective, I'm actually not mad at it. I'm really not. I'm more mad at us in this way, because all the primetime games, who is the broadcast teams that showcase all the primetime games. It's ESPN.
Right.
And when did Ohio State and the Big Ten's ESPN contract end? It was in 2022.
Correct.
So if we wanted all these primetime games at night, who's the people that broadcast it? It's ESPN.
Right.
So if we wanted that Texas game to be a night game, Chris, we should have renewed our contract after the 2022 season.
Yeah.
I know that we don't like ESPN. I know we don't, but that would have given us a more of a puncher's chance to get that to become a night game.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but we're on multi-network. We're not strictly Fox, and as Eric points out here, NBC does night games.
Yeah, that's true too. But I think that also.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I think our night games with Peacock though and NBC is they're only used for games for teams that we're going to beat up by 50 points, 60 points.
Yeah.
Unless Notre Dame joins the conference.
Yeah.
Because,
here's my thing. Yes, we as Buckeye fans are very irritated by the big noon kickoff. We absolutely hate big noon kickoff as fans, and that's because as fans we enjoy our tailgating. Let's call it what it is. We enjoy our drinking. We enjoy the whole stadium atmosphere on those 3:30 games, on those night games. The atmosphere, there's something different about it, just like there is anywhere. I mean, you look around the Big Ten. Nobody wants to play in Wisconsin for a night game. It's a different type of environment, no matter what the team's like. Nobody wants to. Wasn't it Oregon went in there last year and Wisconsin almost beat them in a night game? If I'm not mistaken. Penn State, a lot of people don't want to go into Penn State during a whiteout at night. I get that. But here's the thing, and I'm going to agree with you a little bit here. We as Ohio State fans now need to be accepting of the fact that it is what it is, and we need to be a little bit mad at ourselves. We need to hold ourselves a little bit accountable, and we need to say, you know what? Yes, it sucks that it's a night game, but by God, or a noon kickoff game rather. But by God, we're going to make the best out of it. We are going to get down to the shoe at 5 a.m. We are going to party like it is a night game. We are going to go out there and we are going to be pumped up, and we are going to have the energy level in the shoe rocking. And if we don't, that's not on anybody but us as a fan base. We can't put this off on anybody else. Yes, again, it stinks. I don't like big noon kickoff games either. But you know what? This big noon kickoff isn't just any big noon kickoff. This is the defending national champions going out there with basically an overhauled roster for their first game against a team that they took down en route to the playoff, a team that is hungry, a very well coached team, a team that, yes, like Ohio State, lost a lot, but they've got a lot of talent as well. This game, we have got to be up for this, because if we can't be up for this, no matter what time the game is, then we have essentially lost the right to call ourselves fans. It's that simple.
Exactly. And so I had to I was doing some thinking, and that struck me today. I was like, I got to say that in the call-in show, because we can't really be, because I think our anger is towards the big noon kickoffs, Chris,
Yes.
is a bit misdirected.
Well, I don't know if it's misdirected. I think that we have a legitimate gripe because we are a premier program, and for us to not get anything but big noon kickoffs and then one night game against a crap in-state rival is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. We as fans have the right to some of those night games as well. And I don't know what has to be done to make it happen, but it does need to happen. But you know what? It's neither here nor there. There's nothing we can do about this big noon kickoff except go out there and just make the shoe rock, make Texas as uncomfortable as possible, let the Buckeyes know that we are behind them and ready to, as Eric likes to say, push them to another repeat title. That's what we have the obligation to do. After what this team put on the line and what they did last year for this fan base, the fan base owes that to this team.
Exactly. But also, we didn't do ourselves any favors too, Chris, by not renewing the contract with ESPN too.
You're right. But you know, it comes down to money, Tyler. That's the big thing. And the sad thing, but that's where the sport of college football is at now. No matter what the aspect is, it comes down to money.
It does. And I don't think a lot of Buckeye fans realize that if we wanted this game a night game, Chris, I feel like we set ourselves up for failure 3 years in the past. And after the 2022 season, it's no, we haven't seen a big time night game since the playoffs, who was run by ESPN.
Yeah.
So I think that some people, like, when we go in this Texas game, I think we need to stop and realize, are we really, I just need people to realize that we can get mad, but we didn't do ourselves any favors either.
Yeah. But you know what? Yes, it's partially us, but you know, the contract was a Big Ten deal. So there was a lot of other entities more than just Ohio State that is saying this. Here's the thing. The other entities aren't complaining because they don't care. They either suck something off and are just thankful to play a team like Ohio State, or, you know, like Oregon knows they're going to typically get a late time slot just because of the nature of their location. Washington knows they're typically going to get a later time slot because of the nature of their location. Same thing with the California teams. So this is where you go back, and Big Ten expansion was good, but maybe this is just one of the side effects of Big Ten expansion is the fact that we are going to give up the later games to the West Coast teams. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
The fact that we took a big contract with Peacock and Fox means that, like you said, the ESPN primetime games are no longer going to be available to us. And Fox wants big noon kickoff to have the biggest game every day. So let's face it, when you're the defending national champion, when you're one of the top brands in all of college football, you are going to be put on big noon every opportunity they get. So it goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. You know, NIL, I think, was great for the sport, but it needed reined in. The transfer portal is something that could be positive, but it needs reined in. But when you talk about what's really destroyed college football, it's the media rights.
Yep.
It is what is destroying college
football. Big media contracts.
Yep. So, anything else on your mind tonight, Tyler? We got a full bank going, buddy.
Yeah, I got one more thing, Chris. It's so And I'm going to add on to what I just said, too.
Okay.
So the media also doesn't bring this up, too, because the media, they bring up how it's all about recruiting. It's all about recruiting. It's all about recruiting.
Yeah.
And how they want these recruits to go to these big games at night. Well, if we're never able, if like you said, if the night games are going to be held with all the Pacific teams on the West Coast, you're never going to get any night games at all. So, in a way, accept the fact that that's never going to happen unless you're in the playoffs. It's just that simple.
Okay. I'm going to throw this out there as a counter to that, Tyler. If you're important enough, people will come to you. Ohio State is important enough. We're going to get the visits. We're going to get the recruits. I'm not at all worried about that. So, all right, Tyler. Hey, I got to run, brother. We got a full bank, but I will talk to you later. Thanks for the call. OH.
Okay. I'll
Go Bucks. All right, we got another caller in queue. Let's bring him on. How are we doing tonight, sir?
I am doing fantastic. We are still national champs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And revel in that, guys. Revel in that. I know we're all excited about what's going to possibly happen this weekend, but you know what? At the end of the day, the most exciting thing is the fact that the Buckeyes are your reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, and they're going to run it back this season. That's what to be excited about.
I concur. And, the whole night game thing is it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah.
That people that are supposed to be smart couldn't figure that out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think if we had Ross Bjork 3 years ago, I don't think this happens. And I'm sorry, I still don't understand why there's still not more night. I don't get it. It doesn't make it. It's just completely illogical.
Yes.
You have the biggest brand in college football, the biggest brand.
Yeah.
And you're going to play them at noon, dude. And they got somebody coming in like Texas. Well, no, dude, you make that a night game because the amount of eyeballs that are going to be on that. Those are like two of the biggest fan bases in college football. You got the number one college football. I think Texas,
yes, Texas has, I believe, the largest
fan base. I don't even know what Does any of the Fox executives actually know anything about sports? Or are these just dillweeds that just got that came over from Fox Entertainment and are doing? For life of me, I can't even figure that out. It makes no sense. It's like, dude, you're going to make so much money more on being a night game than a noon game. That's just common sense.
They are so.
But anyway,
they are so desperate to try. And this is the thing. I like the Big Noon Kickoff team, the broadcast team, much better than I like the team over at ESPN with Game Day. I do 100%. I prefer the Big Noon Kickoff team. My problem is that they are so desperate to make Big Noon Kickoff the brand. Instead of just coexisting with ESPN, they want it to be bigger and better. And they want to have the marquee games on Big Noon. And like you said, I think it's a big mistake. This should be a night game where all eyes are on that game and that game alone, especially this one. Anytime you get a matchup between two teams that are really the two favorites to play in the national title game this season, There's no way that should be a noon game, especially when one of those teams is from the Central Time Zone. So what does that mean? It's a 10 a.m. game for people who want to watch in Texas? I mean, come on. Where's the logic there? Your Texas fans are going to watch, but your West Coast fans, a lot of them may not get up to watch that. Because if you talk about a West Coast fan, they're having to get up and watch it at 9 a.m.
That's an 11 a.m. game for people who live in Texas.
Yeah.
If we're on the West Coast, that is 9 a.m.
Yes.
And hey, I want to say this again. You know, I guarantee you go out to freaking Los Angeles, there's going to be a crap ton of people from Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. There just is, man. It's that way here in Florida. Okay, I see more Big Ten stuff than I do any of the Florida schools.
Yeah,
any of them. And I mean, Miami represents pretty well here in the Tampa area. Florida State represents well all over the state. But Gator fans, I don't see them too often. But there's way more Ohio State. But I'm telling you, I've done it so many times. I can walk into some place here and I can yell OH. I get an IO back. I did it just yesterday at the place right down the street where I was getting lunch. A guy walked in with a Ohio State shirt. And we're everywhere. Okay, I see Michigan State fans are sick down here. Penn State fans. Heck, I see Oregon. Oregon's not that unusual.
Yeah, it's a transplant
I almost
state.
do more Oregon than I do Baylor. Yeah. So the fact that you know those people living out there on the West Coast, they're gonna have to get up at 9 a.m. to watch that game. You know, oh man, they're probably missing at least the first half of that game.
And you talked about, California has a lot of Buckeye fans, especially I think one of the largest alumni bases, if I'm not mistaken, is the Alumni Club of San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think San Diego had one of the big ones.
You're probably right, and I'll tell you why. Because you have military there.
Yeah.
And anywhere time you got military anywhere, that ups it. And like I said on the Memorial Day podcast, that we represent very well in all the branches.
Yes.
All the branches, you're going to find a ton of Buckeyes.
Yeah. And
that's just a fact. And you're just going to find a lot of Big Ten guys. You're going to find a lot of Michigan, a lot of Penn State, and just, you're going to find those Alabama fans and Oklahoma fans. There's a lot of college football fans, Oh, yeah. But we're going to represent better than anybody else. I know because I was there for 14 years. And heck, my one platoon, when it was a small platoon, we had 3 dudes from Ohio in it. 3. And I think we had like 5 or 6 in our company.
Yeah.
So that's a reality. And there's the fact that they've got this whole noon game thing so screwed up. It's amazing to me that professionals allegedly can screw something up that bad. But what's your I think change the subject here. I've been saying it. I've been saying it. That hammer is coming.
Oh, I agree 100%.
And the more I think about it, the more I think it's going to be bad. And I'll just use one example, USC. Yes. Because honestly, that's the closest thing to what we've seen here with not cooperating, and look what the NCAA did to USC. I mean, that was bad. That was bad what happened to USC. That's just paying for Reggie Bush's mom's.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if you caught this one recently, and Eric and I were talking about this the other night with Jamal and Corey before we went on the air. The NCAA 2 days ago brought a hammer down on Florida Gulf Coast University. Now, for those of you who don't know, Florida Gulf Coast had 7 sports programs stripped of a total of 82 wins. They vacated 82 wins for improper certification of student athletes among their softball, baseball, men's and women's basketball, men's tennis, women's golf, and men's soccer teams. They lost 82 victories combined over those programs because they were playing players who were ineligible. Now, an ineligible player being played automatically usually does equate to a vacation of victories, but this says improper certification. So I'm not sure if they were, I'm not sure what the level was, but here's the other thing about that. They actually were facing several level 1 violations. However, they were only hit with level 2 penalties because they cooperated with the NCAA. Do you know who did not cooperate with the NCAA? The University of Michigan. Guys, if you don't think the hammer's coming, think again. And Lacey, I think you have this nailed exactly. They are screwed. I think this was like a precursor. This was a precursor to what you're going to see, because with the massive amount of violations, the severity of the violations, and I don't know if you had a chance to watch TG and Sean the other night with Justin Spiro, who had some other things that he couldn't dive into, but there was a not so thinly veiled suggestion that they too may have been playing ineligible players, specifically one running back in particular. And
the one from the Lollipop Guild?
I'm not going to get into it because I don't have that information, and that's not mine to share. I would say check out Justin, or check and see if Sean or TG have some more follow-up on that. But I will say this, guys, the hammer's coming. This is going to be ugly. And if there is any truth to playing an ineligible player, if there is any truth to the speculation that there was a gambling tie, if there is the evidence we all believe there to be of the cheating scandal, guys, I've come to the realization that Michigan's not going to get the death penalty, but I think they are going to get sanctioned back to the Stone Ages. Watch for vacation of wins. Watch for bans, bowl bans for years. I would be surprised if they don't walk away with at least a 3-year bowl ban. Watch a reduction in scholarships, which means nothing in the NIL days, unless they can find a way to somehow tie it to a reduction of access to NIL funds. Watch for the fact that that win over Alabama may very well have been Sharon Moore's last victory as a coach at Michigan. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying I think it could. I think I'm 90% sure you're going to see vacated wins. I'm 90% sure you're going to see a bowl ban. As to Sharon Moore, I would say it is more likely than not that he may have coached his last game at Michigan. So I don't know, but that's kind of just where I'm at after seeing what they've done to other programs in the past, and then particularly what they just handed out to the Florida Gulf Coast team.
I think they're going to get. I think it's 100%. They're going to vacate wins. I think it's 100%. They're going to get a 3-year bowl ban for sure. And I have a feeling, this is more of a speculation on my part, just trying to use some common sense and some reasoning. I think Sharon Moore gets a 2-year show cause. And the reason why I say that, it's not his first offense. He didn't cooperate either time. And when you don't cooperate, they're going full throttle for
Yes.
you. And I don't think they like him any more than they like the booger eater that tried to get out of there for 3 years before he finally got out of there. I don't think they like him either. I think he's been a arrogant, you know what, and that rubs people the wrong way. And he's going. I believe he gets a 2-year show cause. Like I said, some of them other coaches got 2-year show causes, and they didn't do near what Sharon Moore's done.
Yeah.
And Hairball got a 4-year show cause. So I don't know how Sharon Moore gets anything less than that.
Idiot. He's such an idiot. He didn't know what was going on, and he got 4 years for it.
Oh, yeah, he didn't know anything that was going on. The dude was just on the sideline, right beside him and his coordinators. Yeah, Jimmy didn't know nothing. Jimmy didn't know nothing. He was just on the sideline. This low level GA
But gave
on the sideline.
But gave the ass a game ball.
Yeah, and Jimmy just happened to give this guy that he didn't know anything about a game ball. Y'all might be that dumb, but don't insult our intelligence. If you want to insult my intelligence, I am not obligated to play nice.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. Hey,
yeah, they're going to get smoked. They're going to get smoked when this stuff comes out, and they're going to cry and whine. They're going to play the victim. They've been setting this up all along. They're going to play the victim, and it's just going to be more gaslighting.
Yeah.
And it's just hysterical.
All right, man. Hey, I hate to cut you off, but I got to run. I've got a full bank of calls still tonight, so hey, I appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger. OH.
I-O.
Go Bucks. All right, man. Another great call. And hey, Pod Squad members, I hope you are paying attention to these calls because I'm going to call on you later to help me decide who got the call of the night. And you know what? That person is going to have a gift sent out from the show. All right, next up, Burks, my man. You've been asking for him. I know some people have mentioned him in the chat. Here he is. Dan, how's it going, my dude?
Is the Wildman on live right now?
Dude, I am on live every night.
Well, how you doing, sir? I heard somebody calling my name.
Well, let me just tell you, to quote Ric Flair, I'm having a hard time keeping these alligators down. Because I'm telling you what, I'm feeling great right now. It was a beautiful summer day here. You know, like I said, I got to take the son golfing this morning. We got to, got to go out and do a little work at the store today. Then, of course, come on here, talk with the Pod Squad tonight. We are still the reigning, defending, undisputed national champs, about to run it back for year number 2. And hey, we are less than a week away from the beginning of the end for that program up north. So it don't get much better than that.
Oh, man.
What's up?
No, I'm just chilling out here by one of my buddy's uncle's cornfields out here in old Union County here in the beautiful state of Ohio. That's right, you heard me, Union County, Ohio. And I'm just out here chilling by his old cornfield here thinking, you know what? This year has been good, but the thing I was talking to my buddy's dad, I was telling him, you know what the thing is I told him about? I'm glad the scum is about to get the hammer dropped on them, and the highway to hell is going to be their roadway, because that's where they're going, is the highway on the highway to hell.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know about hell, but they're definitely going to ruin. So, I just feel like it's just too much. They are in so much. After I see what they just did to the Gulf Coast, Florida Gulf Coast, If you don't think they're coming both guns a-blazing at the scum, think again. It is going to happen. It is going to happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Chris, though. In the words of one of my fellow teammates and former buddies that I still help around bale hay with, in the words of his about the scum, if I had the chance to knock out every single you-know-what of that team up north, I would make Tom Brady watch the entire session of me whipping their you-know-what. And that's in the quote of one of my former teammates at school here in Union County, but I ain't gonna say which one.
Oh, come on!
But,
you gotta let me in. Is it Marysville? Is it North Union? Are you over in that Richwood area? You down around Alder? Because I'll tell you what, I got some family ties to Alder. Where you at, man?
really,
Yeah.
I don't ever see you down that way.
Well, I haven't been down to see, and I'm sad, kind of sad about it because my cousin's boy was just a great ball player down at Jonathan Alder. He just graduated this year. Going to be playing baseball at I believe Wesleyan, if I'm not mistaken. Very good baseball player, very good football player. And I didn't get the chance to make it down there this year. I'm kind of sad about that. So I really would have liked to. I got to see a lot of clips of him play. My uncle would bring the clips or put them up on the Facebook. But yeah, I thought a
I'll
couple
be
family
darned.
members go through Alder.
Well, it's all my buddies that farm down there that I helped for a while that live down there.
Yeah.
That live up that way. And you know what truth be told, Wildman?
What's that?
This scone deserves every single ounce of pain they're gonna get when the hammer drops on them and Ohio State sends them on the highway to hell. I assure you that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. There's nothing they're gonna get that they don't deserve 100%.
I know Birch has been in here talking all his crap, and he's over here yapping. Well, Birch, you don't have to wait any longer, sonny boy. You can do me a favor and drop the baby bottle full of milk and start listening, son. But in the words of my other dear friend who played high school football, who wore the green and gold unis that terrorized London High School, said that if I had the opportunity to play strong safety at Ohio State, I would beat the absolute living out of Tom Brady's boys, and I wouldn't give a crap about it. But that's in his words,
But
not mine.
here's my thing. Why are we even worried about Tom Brady?
Well, that's where he's from, so we always say
That's where he's from. But he was a mid quarterback at Michigan who went on to become a great quarterback in the NFL. Can't deny that. Arguably one of the best ever. But again, why are we banging on Tom Brady?
No, we just so from where our point of view, anybody that comes from Michigan is coming from the school that made Tom Brady famous. You know what I mean? And we say, oh, there goes Tom Brady's boy.
They didn't. He was a 6th round draft pick. He was mid. They didn't make him famous. When he got to Bill Belichick and got coached up, that's when he became famous. He's a disciple of Belichick, not of the blue. Still there?
Hold on, Chris.
Oh,
Give me
okay.
one second.
Something coming out of the cornfields at you there, Dan?
Yeah, sorry. Friend of mine's truck pulled up, and he was wanting to say hi. So,
All right.
just one of the local low farm boys that just want to talk. I told him I was on the phone with you, and he's like, "No way, the OHL podcast." He's like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh yeah."
That's
So,
right. Often imitated, never
no-
duplicated.
Hey, hold on, Chris. Hey, hold on. I wasn't finished yet, bub.
Hey, I didn't cut you off. Keep going. I do only have about 3 more minutes for you, though, Dan, because I'm trying to keep everybody at 10 minutes tonight because we have still got a full bank of calls, and I want everybody to keep calling in. I'll keep this thing going as long as you are talking.
Has Burks called in yet?
He is not.
I'm surprised that boy doesn't have a set of cojones to call on in like I do. Huh.
Believe me,
I'll be doggone.
Burks has no problem calling in. Burks and I have a pretty good mutual respect for one another. So he is more than welcome to call in anytime, and he knows that.
But like
So
I said to Burks, here, Burksy boy, would you mind taking my advice here, son? Just do me a favor. Take that little baby bottle of milk of yours, set it to the side, and dial 567-483-1999. I like to hear the garbage you spit out this month because I'm betting it's the same old garbage that all them Team Up North scum fans are blaming OSU for all their trouble. I've heard that story about a dozen times within the last month. And heck, when I just started mowing hay for the guy down here, that's all I heard was Michigan fans crying, complaining, saying they were at fault. They weren't at fault. I heard that whole entire story a dozen times, and even during plant season. So I bet he's going to be spitting the same old crap that they are spitting out for since we won the national championship. But if he wants to call on in, I don't have a problem with that. I just like to hear him ramble. It's kind of funny when he rambles off.
well, we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll give us a call. But you know what, guys? We're gonna have to wrap this one up, Dan, because I have got a full bank, my brother. You have a great night, OH.
I own TG. Talk to you later.
TG, he'll talk to you later. Okay. All right, we got another caller. I have a feeling I may know. Let's see. And who do we have on the line?
Hey man, you told me to call it at Katie.
Anytime, you're welcome, my friend. Anytime. So
yeah, well, I'll talk to Caden, but right now I gotta tell you some big news, man. It's crazy, dude. Like I don't know if I told you this, but I backstabbed my fan base. I betrayed them, and I am probably the most hated Michigan fan on YouTube now.
what was it? Simply a fact of you brought a realistic and honest view to things, and they weren't ready to handle that?
Yeah, you could say that. Like it was just like, okay, so you know how I went on this rant with Eric like the last time I called in, right? And that video had like 1.5 thousand views, dude. Like that video, man. So many Michigan fans watched that video. Yeah, I'm getting sick of, like, here's the problem, right? I love Michigan so much, right? And I just cannot take how my YouTube community is making a mockery of our fan base, dude. It is making such a mockery to the point that they make stupid takes every day. They always are saying like stuff about Connor Stallions, how we cheat. There's not a single one who yet said that we cheated. Only I have. And what's really funny is like it's just like I'm just sick of it, man. We need to own up for our mistakes, and no one is doing that. And they're not truly being a true Wolverine. I'm getting sick of it, dude. Like, I am at a point, dude, where, you know what? After Ohio State won the Natty, man, like, I'm not going to lie, my fan base started going more crazy, doing takes like Mickey Mouse title and these sore loser takes, to the point where, I was planning to backstab them, and I backstabbed them, and I have no regrets backstabbing them. Zero regrets, man.
Here's the thing, Burks, and let me tell you, like I said, I think we've always had a mutual respect, and
yeah,
I think that you need to become the president of the University of Michigan.
Oh, please, man, that's my dream job, man.
Because let me tell you, there was a time where, as much as I despised that team, I still respected them. I respected the program. I respected their tradition. Didn't like them? I very much had that Woody Hayes attitude if I would, rather push the car across the state line to buy gas than buy it in Michigan. But you know what? I think that was when the rivalry was healthy. I think that's when the rivalry was healthy. I think that's when college football was healthy. I think that was good for both programs to have the hatred, but have the respect. And there is no respect anymore. And I'm going to say it goes both ways. Obviously, the cheating and all the things that have happened over the Harbaugh years has definitely soured the Ohio State take on as far as the respect that we once had for the team up north. But I would also say that the actions of a lot of your fan base, and you touched on them, and you've actually called them out on it, has I think soured your fan base on this whole thing, and it's gotten to the point where it's ugly. And I don't know if you heard or not, but I had a social media account closed down. I was ranting on Michigan. There was no cursing involved. There was no threatening language involved. But my social media on that particular format was shut down as hate speech.
Yeah, they're being soft, man. Listen, we're Wolverines, okay? We cannot be soft. Yet they love to be on Twitter and like to be soft, man. Like we are. This is what's pissing me off, dude. You see, and it's so funny, dude. Some of these Michigan, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really hating on like YouTube. Like no channel wants me anymore, and I don't care. Okay, they're scum. Okay, they can be scum because they support Connor Stallion. They support that. Oh yeah, nothing bad is we did nothing wrong. It's like, bro, come on, we have to take responsibility for what we did, dude. And it's just really pissing me off to the point where like, dude, I just can't take. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Ever since I went to Michigan YouTube community, I kind of started feeling a little more like, like this was probably the worst time of being a Michigan fan, And then I left 3 weeks back after I backstabbed them, and man, I feel free, man. I really do, dude. Like I feel so happy, and I know that we have a verdict coming in a couple of days, but man, no more this delusional talk, no more of this like praising Connor Stallion crap, dude. And it's just like, see, that story you told me about, like, the Connor that someone like reported your account. That is just such a soft move, man. And we're Wolverines, man. We cannot be like weasels. And I feel like a lot of our fan base is just not living up to that, expectation of what we are. And people think I'm crazy, but they're the crazy ones. I'm trying to be a Michigan man. These guys are trying to be like, they think they're Michigan man. They're the scum. I'm the Michigan man.
Well, Burks, we need to get you a podcast for that team you love, because I'll tell you what, I could see us collaborating on some projects, because as you look through the chat, I've heard several people seen several people flash up, things like Burks is the one Michigan fan I have actually grown to respect, or people agreeing with that comment. It's one of those things where, again, we can totally hate each other's teams, but if we can have an intelligent, respectful conversation about it, that makes for good podcast, good radio, good TV, if you can have that. And
I agree,
think
man.
that's where we're at.
Yeah, no, and what really pisses me off, dude, is some of my fan base, man. I'm not gonna lie, they've talked some trash about your show, and I've sometimes defended you guys. I'm like, dude, get to know these guys better, man. They're pretty great guys. Yet they don't want to know because they're talking about the Hammer and stuff. It's like, just because they talk about the Hammer, it's no like big deal. Let them talk about it. This is the rivalry, man. Like, it's just like, I got to know you guys more and more. And you guys are like really great dudes, the 2nd and 7 stuff you do. And I'm being honest, dude. Like, I'm not trying to make this crap up or being a traitor or anything. I only backstab my fan base because I love Michigan and they're making a mockery of my fan base. And that's what's happening. And I can't take it no more, They're making a mockery of it. So that's why I backstabbed them. I did not want to backstab them, but I had to do it by betraying them and going on these Ohio State shows and talking about, the dumb stuff they've been talking about, Like, that's like, I didn't want to do it, but I had to because I love Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing. It's, I can see, I can hear it. You've got a passion for Michigan, and I get that. And like I said, I respect that. You're hanging with your team through thick and thin. Although you have been invited anytime you want. We could hook you up with some gear, send you a hat,
Oh, good. I'm good.
but Burks, like I said, I mean, seriously, um, the YouTube community is, I feel very blessed. We have a great YouTube community. We have a pretty good following on X. Uh, it's good. The people that we have for our call-in shows, I think, is great. The people that, and that's what these call-in shows, and they can sit here and gripe about people talking about the hammer all they want. But the fact is, if that's what my callers, or if that's what Eric's callers want to talk about, we're going to let them, because this is their platform. Just like when you came on, and you and I have had a couple of pretty good heated debates, respectful but heated debates. But I'm not going to stop any Michigan fan from calling in here if they want to talk. I mean, bring it. Absolutely bring it. But do it in the way that you do.
They're not going to do it, dude. They're just not going to talk. I know them too well. I know my fan base too well, dude. They're just not, They just when the hammer talks, then it's like, oh, they're the worst person. And that's not true, That's what I'm getting really mad about this rivalry. And it's like, and sometimes I get mad at this thing, Chris, is like, they're always like, this is actually for both sides, but they always are like, oh, why are you talking about Michigan? Oh, why are you talking about Ohio State? I'm like, dude, both sides, man, chill out. This is the rivalry, okay? We're supposed to talk about each other. If you guys don't like it, then go switch in another team. This is also, I've noticed a lot of Michigan chats and, just other stuff. Like, it's like, like they always like to talk about us. I'm like, bro, this is the rivalry. Ohio State, Michigan's going to talk about each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what pisses me off the most, dude. This is what pisses me off the most. It's like, oh, why are you talking? It's like kids tattletaling, man. Like, it's like, dude, if you don't like it, then don't be a fan of either team,
Yeah.
Like, literally. Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Well, hey, Burks, I hate to cut you off, but we are just over that 10-minute mark, and I do have a pretty good bank of calls still. So, brother, don't be afraid to call.
Last but not least.
Yes, sir.
Last but not least, Caden the man, do your another unsanctioned show so I can destroy you again, all right? I need to destroy you this time, all right, and put you to bed, all right? So you're calling me out, all right? Do another of your trashy unsanctioned show. I'll come on. You tell, all right? I'll come on, man. All right, that's all I got to say.
So Burks, just let me ask you, are you officially calling him out and going to put the women and children to bed and take care of business? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, man, because, he's trying to call me out. He's trying to destroy my pride. I have a pride, man. If this guy's going to call me out, I'm going to do another show and I'm going to end him 100%. Then he'll no longer be the Undertaker no more. I didn't end him the first show. I thought I did, man. He deleted all his channels. No, he's back. I got to end him again, man. Oh, my God. Right,
man.
Yeah.
Hey, Burks, take care, brother. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, take care, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
All right, so it looks like we have Sean coming up next, followed by Barb. And then we've got a living legend on the line. Guys, the number's strolling across the bottom of the screen. As I said, we are going to try to keep the calls to right around 10 minutes. We're doing a great job of that tonight. And Pod Squad, please keep watching so that you can give me your opinion on who was the best call of the night. And we will get them out some fabulous piece of autographed merchandise before we end the show tonight. All right. My dude, I am so
Chris.
sorry. I am so
That's
sorry.
Okay, bro. I get it. I get it, man. You got busy. You work in the store. I get it, bro. No problem.
So what's
I tell you what, man. Dan, take some advice from someone who's older than you. You need to stop it. Burks destroyed you. you got put to bed, stay to bed. I mean, you're making us all look bad with your takes and the way you come on and you show you talk no facts. You just insult people. You're loud. You're obnoxious, and you don't bring any good facts to the table. Burks destroyed you the last time. If you go round two, he'll destroy you again. It's pointless, dude.
Hey, Sean.
Just grow up.
Can I interrupt here for just 1 second? Because Steely
Sure.
just posted a comment, and I got to get this out there, man. Because we're talking about the soft Michigan fans who,
Sure.
And you and I talked about one incident earlier. We had another incident where, I mentioned my social media account was, one of my social medias on one of the platforms was nailed for hate speech, even though there was no hate, just simply a brutal take on the cheating and the numerous scandals perpetrated by the people up US 23 here. And, Steve's got 100% right take on this. If you don't like it, if you don't want to hear it, then don't watch it. You hate watch and then gripe about it. Guys, just don't watch if you don't want to hear the content. We pride ourselves on having good content, on having a great fan base in our pod squad. We pride ourselves on being a fair and honest show. And we want you to we want you to subscribe. We want you to hit that bell so you know when we drop the new content. We want you to become official members. We do want all that. But we want that if you're a true Ohio State fan who wants to be here. Or in Burke's case, if you are a fan of the team up north who likes to interact and do so in a respectful manner, and we can respectfully argue with one another and then part ways. And Sean, I know you and TG have a few people that you do that with who are fans of the team up north. And
here's the problem I have, Chris, is they'll sit there and they'll run their mouth, and when you say something back to them, they cry and they play the victim. That drives me nuts. Here's something else they do, is they'll sit there and they'll block people, then they'll talk trash about them and call them out. How are you supposed to see you're being called out if you're blocked? You can't see. It just shows what kind of, yellow is the perfect color for them, because they probably got a nice yellow, streak going down their back.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
They're a bunch of cowards. A lot of them are. Some of them, I'll give credit to, like Burks. He's not a coward. I saw where a couple of the Michigan people, a couple of the trolls were saying they were going to take his Michigan card away because Burks said he was going to start a revolution. So it is what it is. God bless you if you do. But
I hope he does. I hope he starts a revolution. Yeah. I hope that he gets these team up north fans to actually bring this team back to a level of respectability. Because I don't like the fact that I think the rivalry's almost become a joke because of what they've done. Jim Harbaugh and his cronies have destroyed what was the greatest rivalry in sports.
And they stick up for him. They praise them. They praise all those idiots. Another thing, if you don't want us to talk about your team and talk about you guys all the time, maybe if your team wasn't such, in the news all the time for, cheating, hacking,
trying to hook up with underage girls in the Walmart parking lot.
Freaking, getting multiple DUIs, multiple show causes. Run a clean program. Stop, you guys are the most sanctioned team in the history of college football. most sanctioned school ever, and that's just your football team.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the other stuff. Oh my lord!
Yeah.
I mean, it's scumbag university for sure.
And Sean, as I look at it, I don't understand how they defend this. And we're no angels. We've had our share of indiscretions in the past, but we have never
Yeah, but we
directly cheated
also
on the field, and we have also taken accountability. As a fan base, we've
we've
taken
also
accountability. As a team, as a university, as a coaching staff,
yeah,
we have taken accountability. Jim
it cost us
Tressel,
a
one of the
national
most
title.
yeah, Jim Tressel, one of the most beloved coaches in Ohio State history, a man who we respect greatly, fell on the sword for this team and was chased out of
Yep.
town. Uh,
Urban Meyer. Basically the same thing.
Same basic thing. Guys, it's two different programs. This is a story, a tale of two programs. And I hope Burks can band together with some former or some other fans of that team up north and bring some sense to their fan base and make this rivalry fun and respectable again. Because
Well,
I
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way: if you don't watch that Connor Stallions mockumentary, I call it a mockumentary,
Oh, it
not
definitely
a
is.
documentary. But the editor of the Detroit Free Press, or the Detroit, whatever the big
The Free
newspaper is,
Press,
it the
yeah.
Free Press that's up there?
Yeah.
They interviewed him, and he goes, Michigan always acts like they're the Michigan, they're high, they have higher standards, and they're so arrogant. And he goes, the Michigan man at the end, he goes, is just a load of BS. There's nothing but BS. It was Jim Harbaugh's, when Jim Harbaugh tried to claim they're Michigan men and all this, and they're a higher standard, and they got all these morals. It's all the Michigan man is all bull fucky,
Yeah.
And it's right. I mean, they don't stand for anything up there. They have no integrity. And you know what? Hopefully Burks can get that. I mean, if Burks can lead a revolution, but I think, he can try all he wants, but you got a lot of morons over there that control things. So, especially on YouTube and stuff like that. So, good luck to you there, buddy.
So, Sean, I mean, we talked a little about it. Given the recent sanctions given to Florida Gulf Coast, given what we've seen in the past from teams like USC, Miami, SMU, even Ohio State, what are you feeling is going to realistically come out of these meetings on the 6th and 7th? Now, I know we aren't going to know anything for at least 30 to 45 days. I'm pretty confident of that.
Here's what I
think
think's going to happen actually after. I think you're going to have people from both sides saying they know that they got, both sides are going to say they got sources. One side's going to say they're getting blown into next, they're getting destroyed, and the other one's going to be, oh, it's not that bad. So, I mean, I think we'll hear a bunch of rumors, and we're not going to know what's going to be the truth till, 45 days or 30 days, whatever the time limit is. And, until that comes out, I don't think we're actually going to know for sure. I think we're just going to hear a bunch of rumors, and both fan bases are going to be where they're at right now. I mean, unless someone from Michigan actually really does tell the truth and spill something. I mean, I don't see that happening, but I mean, they didn't even release what was on the last NOA. I mean, they kept that hush hush. Imagine how bad that had to be for them not to leak that.
So here's my thought, and just kind of follow me with this.
Sure.
Do you think that once it's all laid out this weekend, that Michigan maybe tries to go back to the bargaining table, and maybe we see an ending or a resolution quicker than we might expect.
I think what they've done is I think they've burnt that bridge. I mean, they can try all they want, but I think the NCAA gave them their chances over and over again, and they continually gave them the double bird. Like my co-star of the Wolverine Slayer would say, is Michigan gave the double bird to the NCAA the whole time. They never cooperated. They hindered the investigation. They lied. They tried covering stuff up. I mean, they don't admit to anything. I mean, honestly, with that recruiting violation, if they would have just taken responsibility for it and said, our bad, we screwed up, and they would have got a slap on the wrist for it. It's the fact that they lied about it, then they doubled down on the lie, and they went on the offensive and attacked NCAA, NCAA. You can't do that. I mean, and I think if you look at all these cases, I brought this up on me and Eric's video. I said, if you look at what happened to Tennessee, you look at what happened to Arizona, ASU, look what happened to Kentucky. They all got destroyed.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason they're doing that, is because when they destroy Michigan,
they're setting the tone.
Can't go back and say, they set the tone. The tone has been set. And they've been nailing all your ex-coaches with all these show causes because they're building the case. And they're showing a pattern here. They're showing the pattern of what they were doing. And yeah, now Michigan can't go back and say, well, they didn't give us any extensions. Well, you got all the extensions that you asked for. You've been given all the time you wanted.
Yep.
You're on your third set of lawyers. I mean, if it was nothing, why are you on your third set of lawyers? Why hasn't this been settled? If it was just a slap on the wrist, like you guys claim it's going to be, few couple $1 million fine, everybody's going to be on their way. Nothing's going to happen. It'd be over by now. It'd have been over months ago, Chris.
Yeah. I look at this. Like this. This is the most extensive scandal in the history of sports. And I think it's going to be treated as such. I said earlier that the media rights are what has destroyed college football, and it's gonna play into effect here. Make no mistake about it. This is the reason that the Wolverines will not receive the death penalty, is because of the media rights. But they're going to get as close as they can without actually giving them the death penalty.
I don't think the death penalty exists anymore, honestly. If anybody was going to get it, it would have been Penn State, and they didn't get it. I think they saw what happened to SMU. I mean, that happened, back in 1987, I believe?
84.
86.
Well, 86.
Oh, 84 when
84.
86 when they got it.
Yeah, it was 84 was the violations.
But when did they have to serve it?
I think it was
serving in 85.
I want to say it was 85 or 86.
Well, if you look, they haven't been relevant until this past year.
Yeah, it's only been the last couple of years they've started putting it back together.
Yeah, so that's a long time.
And that's why I say that's where the media rights comes into play, because I don't see the media allowing them to do this. There's too much money to be made off of a brand. Let's say, call it as is. As much as they are scum, as much as they cheated the game, sadly they are still a brand, and we can't deny that.
Oh, they are a brand, but Chris, they did give Ohio State a bowl ban.
They did. Well, I think there'll be I do think a 2 to 3 game bowl ban happens. I really do. I think it has to.
If you look, if they gave them, they didn't make the playoffs this year, and I think, we survived, didn't we?
Yes.
The whole thing didn't go kaput. Heck, they won a national title, and their clothing store went bankrupt because no one wanted to buy their championship gear. How does that happen? How do you lose money when you win it? Because I'll tell you why. Because people are embarrassed about it, and they know it's a fraudulent title. They ain't gonna buy that crap.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And here's the thing with
well,
that too, Sean. And we'll have to wrap it up here because I do have a couple of callers
sure.
behind you. But you know, and I lost my train of thought here for a second. But I just feel like it's bad because this didn't have to happen.
No,
It didn't have to take this long. But I just feel like, the NCAA, I agree with you. I think they've been setting the tone. I think this thing against Florida Atlantic is huge. I watched UNTG the other night with Spiro, and I think there's a lot more that we don't know. Maybe it's stuff that's included in that NOA that we don't know anything about.
And like Spiro said, there's gonna be stuff that probably never sees
If
the
there
light of
was
day
a
either.
particular running back who was ineligible, those games that he played in all have to be vacated. In fact, I would go as far as all games that he was on the roster would have to be vacated.
Oh, I mean, honestly, if they vacate everything that Connor Stadiums was part of, he was part of half the season. So what, are you going to vacate half of it and still give them the national championship?
I don't think they can.
That would look
because
stupid.
here's the argument:
I mean,
if they don't have that half of the season,
they're not eligible.
They're not eligible. So, and that being said as well, we talked about. I thought Michigan was a little too big for them to really bury with a death penalty. And you mentioned the fact that, yes, we had the playoffs last year without them. And that's true. But are we going to have an Indiana who can step in? Because we know Ohio State's going to be there. We know Oregon's going to be there. We know Penn State's going to be there. But you have to think that there's going to have to be a fourth or even fifth Big Ten team to make the cut.
Illinois.
Is it Illinois? Is Illinois this year's Indiana?
I think there's going to be another team. I mean, I think you're always going to have that team, that's going to go on a 2 or 3 year run like Indiana, Illinois. I mean, that it's going to take a team, a couple years to build, to build up a little bit, to get them develop their players, and they'll go on a 1 or 2 year run, and another team will do that. I think you're always going to have schools like that in each conference where, a team has a bunch of good young players, but they're sophomores or freshmen, and they need to play. I mean, they play them, they take their lumps, and when they're, sophomores and juniors or even seniors, that they're good. And I mean, if you look, Indiana had they were transfers, but they were all upperclassmen. They went on their 1 year run, but Illinois has been building a solid team, and they got almost everybody coming back from that team they had last year.
Yep.
That, I think that's the team that I think they make the playoffs.
Watch out for Altmaier. I think he could be one of the better quarterbacks in the conference this year.
And you know what? This drags on. I mean, I thought with the way Gum's schedule was, that they actually had a shot because they're not playing anybody tough except us and, Oklahoma. And Oklahoma's,
not that tough.
Not that tough, but I mean, I still think, it all depends on Underwood. I mean, he could either, they think he's the savior and he's going to take them to the playoffs. I mean, could he? I mean, better than what they've had, but he's still going to do stupid mistakes. I mean, we all saw that with Braxton Miller when he started his freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to wow you he's going to flash, and you're going to say, man, that's the 5-star kid that, go take us to the promised land. And 2 plays later, he's going to throw into double coverage or do something stupid that, an 18-year-old kid's going to do because he doesn't have the experience.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, I got to roll. It's been awesome, but I got to roll.
Bro,
I got 2 more callers in queue, so.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, we'll watch you tomorrow.
Shout out to Vader and
yeah.
I always shout out to Vader and TG and everybody. We got Kangaroo Black. I think TG probably already told you, but Kangaroo Black's coming on tomorrow night with us, and we're gonna burn the house down. So his love for Michigan, joke, people, but his hatred, we're gonna take him down. So I'll talk to you guys later. OH.
IO. And that was the Schrockstar, one of the co-hosts of the Buckeye Lounge, which will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And with TG and Sean tomorrow night, we heard is Kangaroo Black. So, guys, make sure to tune into that. Next caller up on the chat, and she has been waiting, it looks like, for almost an hour. Guys, I'm sorry. We've been trying to get through these calls as quick as possible. Barb, are you there?
It's okay. I'm here.
Wonderful. What's on your mind this evening, ma'am?
Well, I wanted to comment about the alumni club in San Diego.
Yes.
I lived in San Diego for a few years, and I was one of the officers of the alumni club there. And on Saturday mornings, we had arrangements with one of the bars, restaurant bar situations right on Pacific Beach. And they would open like at 8:30 on Saturday mornings. They'd bring their staff in super early and open just for us so we could come in and have our watch parties. And it was really great. A ton of people showed up, and it was lovely. And I know that they didn't have it there the last year I was there, which was, I don't know, 2004, 2015, one of those years. Anyway, they moved inland just a little bit.
Yeah.
But that one was right on the water. But they moved inland. It was the same thing. Great places that opened early to accommodate the Buckeye people in San Diego.
And correct me, Barb, that is one of the larger alumni groups in the country, is it not?
I'm not really sure, but yeah, there was a lot of support. Lots and lots of support.
Yeah.
Out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice sized club. And then, there was something else I thought of, but that was an hour ago.
I'm so sorry. It does.
Okay.
It does take a while.
Okay. Buckeye, Michigan.
Yes.
Rivalry week. I lived in the place up north for 17 years.
I'm sorry.
Much to my chagrin. Yeah, it was awful. But anyway, I was up there, and in Detroit, they used to have it at this one little area in Detroit. It was a kind of a Polish area. They had this big restaurant, and they would have the debate. They called it the Great Debate.
Okay.
And there was a debate team from Michigan with like 4 people, and a debate team from Ohio State with about 4 people, 4 or 5 each, right? So one year I was on the Ohio State debate team. And I knew I had failed miserably when after the debate, they told me I brought class to the debate because I didn't talk about, people's mothers and things.
You know,
I said, okay.
It's sad that it gets that ugly sometimes, but I get it.
Well, the great debate. So I said, I failed then, huh? But it was fun. But back then it was fun. And that was during the, when was that? The 80s.
So that was the Earl Bruce years and going into Cooper.
Well, Woody too.
Yeah.
During some of the 70s was Woody. Yeah.
70s was Woody.
70s and 80s. Yeah. My kids were both born, unfortunately, but that's okay. They're stalwart Buckeyes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And that was 76 and 74. So they were born in the 70s up there. So during that time, and we had so much fun. We'd go to one of the games at the big house, and afterward, we'd have a room over one of the hotels around there, and my boys would take off, and every time, everybody had their doors open, like a motel, everybody had their doors open.
Yeah.
And the boys would run in and scream, "Go Bucks," in the middle of the Michigan party and run out.
It's awesome.
So that's how they were raised.
That is awesome.
And we met with another, some of our friends from the Buckeye Club up there, because I was in that organization also. And we had, what was it? Shoot. Let me think for a second. That just escaped me also. Oh, one of the times the team came in. Oh, I know what it was. we were over with some friends, and one of them went to one of the frat houses because he was in that fraternity, but at Ohio State. We went there, and so we were up on the roof. The boys and I were up on the roof.
Yeah.
And the Michigan people were trying to get them to trade their Ohio State gear for Michigan gear, and they wouldn't trade.
Nice.
They refused to trade.
I wouldn't give it up for that crap either.
Yeah, for real. But anyway, just some fun things about the rivalry back when it was fun before it became so ridiculous. And we did used to respect each other.
Right.
And now, I want to tell you, yeah, there is no respect. They have no integrity. They've lost every morsel of morals that they ever thought they had.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. It's ugly now.
It is.
And I remember what.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, another game I went to in the big house, and it was just a drizzle, kind of drizzling. We lost, I think, by 3 points or something stupid. And we were quiet. We were waiting to get out. Now, if you've ever been to the big house, it's a big pit. It's a big hole in the ground.
The outhouse
and so
is what
waiting
I call it.
Yeah, like that. So we're trying to wait to get out. And earlier in the game, some Michigan guy hit an Ohio State man in the head with a can of beer. They had to call the squad, split his head open. Was stupid, right? Well, we're waiting to get out, and all of a sudden, I know this sounds silly, but it was one of those great big bags of potato chips back when they had big bags of potato chips, and it was kind of damp from all the rain. I got hit in the face with it. Somebody threw it, and it almost knocked me over. And we weren't doing anything. We were just standing there quiet, waiting to get out. So that's the kind of people they are. And I've been to the place up north there, and their toilet bowl, and they've thrown bottles and rocks at our band. So they're out of control. They're really blue-collar people. That's all I can say.
Well, here's the thing.
Those are
I'm okay with rough blue-collar people. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a Browns fan. We've been known to throw a few things in the past ourselves. But, this much I'll say. We never were cheating out, actually cheating in game.
No, but there's blue collar dirty and there's blue collar with dignity.
Yes, there is no.
I was referring to the
left. Yes,
I was referring to the dirty, not in. That was the wrong term. Yeah, our fans have dignity.
Yes,
I mean we words. Yes, we'll throw all kinds of words at them, but we don't do bodily harm.
No.
And there are thugs up there. That's the word, thugs. They throw bottles and rocks at the band. Now that's just crazy. And I was thinking at the time, doesn't Bo Schembechler have any control over this? Isn't he ashamed of the way these people are acting?
I think he probably is. This is not the Michigan program that he built up. This is not. They don't have any dignity. They don't have any respect. They don't have any pride. And you can tell they've got no belief in themselves anymore when they have to go out and cheat on the field to win anything.
It blows me away. I just can't believe that it's come to this. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's just so out there. It really is just out of the question. Shoot, Ohio State people, we turned ourselves in for like a tenth of what they did.
Yes.
And then we say, we're so sorry, we're ashamed. Right?
That's right. I mean, I said, we let go of two of the most beloved coaches in our program's history over incidents that were nowhere near as extensive or as vile as what happened in Michigan.
I mean, Woody got in trouble one time because he bought one of the players a pair of pants because he only had one pair of pants and they had a hole in them. He bought the kid a pair of pants and got in big trouble. So so this is just unacceptable. And I'm glad that some of the other schools are jumping on board, wanting a piece of their hide, because they deserve whatever they get.
I agree.
Probably more than what they're going to get.
They do.
That was all.
This program deserves the death penalty. They truly do.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sports program as a whole deserves a death penalty.
And yeah, whatever happened to dealing with the hockey program or Juwan Howard? I mean, he was shameful. But I mean, whatever happened to dealing with that stuff?
Well, the joy of this is for Michigan. The fact is that the sad state of what the football team did just really overshadows a lot of the mess that the rest of the athletic program is responsible for.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, the rest of the stuff was kid stuff, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Barb, it looks like we got a couple of Michigan homers in here right now, and of course they're in here trying to stir up a little trouble, and that's okay.
Okay.
We welcome them.
That's okay.
Maze Madman, welcome to the chat. You've we've had you in before, and welcome. Mike Anderson, who is coming in with some fire. Mike, you're 100% wrong here, but that's okay. we do
okay,
not.
We're used to it.
we do not hold stupidity against people.
No,
the fact is, it's not 4-0 because after this next weekend, it's going to go down to 1-1 once the penalties are leveled. It's not 3 straight Big Ten titles because you had to cheat to get those. Those are out the door. There is no undefeated championship because, well, you guys didn't belong there to begin with. And once the wins are vacated, you will see that.
That's correct, too, yeah.
So,
those are facts.
Yeah,
sorry.
Absolutely.
Those are facts. You can't change truth.
That's it. But
you can't change truth.
Yeah, you can't change truth and you can't fix stupid. And sadly, it seems to me that that's a delusion that a couple of fans from up north seem to be dealing with right now.
Well, I'm sorry for them. It's meant to be them. Sad.
Sorry, not sorry. That's kind of my take on it, Barb. Sorry, not sorry. Because they are just sad and pathetic folks.
Yes. Okay. Listen, I'll let you get to the next caller.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you mentioned California, I just I have personal experience with that club.
Yeah.
But and the 9 o'clock games.
Yeah.
But
that's
awesome. 8:30 in the morning.
That is so awesome to hear.
So nobody missed a game.
That is great.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, sir.
Well, thanks for the call, Barb. You have a great night as well. OH.
Okay. IO.
Go Bucks. That was Barb, and that was the first time I've had the pleasure of talking with Barb, and I hope it's not the last. She is wonderful. Lacey, thank you for throwing that out there. And Maze Madman, please, again, extend our prayers to Marmar. Glad to hear that he is doing well. Hopefully he is back up and running with you guys soon. Okay, guys, right now I need my pod squad members to think about the callers we've had. And guys, I want you to try to pick your favorite call. I'm going to ask my wrenches here a little bit to maybe keep track of what this is, as I'm going to try to keep track as well. But guys, keep track of who people are voting for as our favorite caller so far. But guys, guess what? We have one more in the queue. We will take calls if somebody else calls in, but if not, we do have one more in the queue, and that is the living legend himself. Ray, are you there?
Chris.
My man, how's it going?
What a beautiful day today, huh?
It's a great day. Like I said, the sun was shining, the heat was on. It was gorgeous outside. Got to take my son out to the golf course for the first time. Enjoyed that quite a bit. And then, just enjoyed that weather. Enjoyed the fact that the Ohio State Buckeyes are the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, despite what a few folks in the chat might be thinking. That
Chris,
is
I want
just
you to,
facts. But Ray, how's your day?
pretty good, 81. But I'm gonna tell you something.
Yes, sir.
I want you to do me a favor, okay?
Yes, sir.
You and Eric and the Buckeye boys. I want you to get together, okay? We got 4 days of this hearing, okay, on Friday.
Yep.
We've waited 2.5 years, and I do not trust the NCAA. I want you guys to get the Ohio State fans to go there wherever this hearing is and protest that we want justice for all this crap they have pulled the last 3 years. Lying, cheating, stealing, whatever you want to call it. They have no integrity, no honesty, no nothing. And they need to put the hammer on them guys. And I'm afraid the NCAA is not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, right? I don't know if you heard earlier when I was talking about and Sean and I discussed this quite a bit. I think the NCAA has been leading up to really demolishing this program with some of the penalties they've passed out. And then I don't know if you heard the most recent against Florida Gulf Coast, where they just vacated 82 wins over 7 of their sports programs. This happened just 2 days ago. I think that they have played the game with the scum. I think the
Chris,
Loserines are about to get nailed.
Chris, where's this hearing at Friday?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure where exactly the hearing is being held at. Would not surprise me if it's not Chicago.
Can you check into it by Friday and find out what the times are and stuff? Maybe us people can go down there and protest, because all them big shots from the NCAA are going to go in there, and so are the Michigan guys. We need to put some support out there that they cost us a bunch of victories and a bunch of people losing their jobs and everything else over the last 3 years, since Jim Harbaugh wanted to lie and cheat, and he said he'd do anything he had to or he was going to die trying. We need to put some pressure on these guys when they go in there to know that we're out there waiting for the right justice and to get some honesty back into the college football.
I'll tell you, I would love to see that. I would love nothing more than to see all of college football fans, because let me tell you, this is not an Ohio State thing, as the
Right.
Loserines fans would have you believe.
Yep.
It's not just a Big Ten thing, as they'd like to have you believe. What the University of Michigan did disgraced the entire game of football. They are an embarrassment to the college football world. They are an embarrassment to their university, to their state, to their students, to their alumni, to their team. But Ray, more than anything, the coaches and players that participated in this are really just an embarrassment to themselves.
Yeah.
And it's amazingly sad.
You had the president.
To me.
You had the president of the
Yes.
university, and he slides out to Florida because he knows what's coming.
He knows what's
And then
coming.
you got the athletic director that is the biggest lard-ass lying person I've ever met, Warren Manuel. I give him chocolates and everything else. He told me 20 years ago he'd call me back, and I knew he never would. He's nothing but a big liar, and he always has been. They have no integrity. I mean, come on. You got to lay the hammer on these guys and find out where this hearing's at, what time it is, where it's at. Maybe some of the people that are around that area can go protest when these guys go in there. We know it's a Friday and Saturday hearing, and it's probably going to be 30 to 45 days before we find out anything. But they need to put the hammer down on these guys so this crap doesn't go on. It's already chaotic with all this money being thrown around. But we don't need a bunch of lying cheaters that have no honesty, no integrity left. They didn't even try to cooperate with these guys for the whole 3 years.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'm trying to find this out right now, where exactly this is being held at. It's going to actually be held in Indianapolis. People in Columbus, that's an hour away.
Yeah.
That's an hour away to Indianapolis. Friends in Indiana.
We're at in Indianapolis, so people know where to go.
Let's see. I will have to research that further.
Yeah.
To see if I can find out for you.
Tell Eric to research it. Get the Buckeyes boys involved and all these other people like those. That lady that just come on there. What's her name?
Barb.
No, not
TG?
Barb, but yeah. Tell her and all them that other guy just got off before I did. Tell all them people we need some support, man. Get down there, and it's only going to be a few hours from.
A couple hours from
Columbus,
yeah.
It's
a couple hours. So,
how many hours are they going to talk to them every day?
You know what? I don't know. I have no idea exactly.
Okay, see if you can research that and find out the hours, so that we can go down there and protest that to the NCAA when these guys go in there that we mean business. We want you to do the right thing and give them a 2 or 3 year bowl ban at least, and take away that damn national championship, which they never earned. They never earned. Rich Eisen, all he says about we're an undefeated team, but he don't say anything about the cheating, the lying, and all the other things that cost people jobs and everything else. That's what I mean about these guys. They're nothing but a whole bunch of little lying, cheating weasels. That's what they are, lying, cheating weasels.
You know, Ray,
scumbag of all time.
You are 100% right. And let me tell you, I love what you just suggested. So you know what? We need to, Ohio State fans, Purdue fans, Indiana fans.
Right.
What few proud fans of that team up north might still remain who have a realistic expectation of what their program should be, who remember when it was a proud program. Nebraska fans, Alabama fans, anybody who is within a few hours of Indianapolis. Guys, we need to find out where these meetings are at. We need to descend upon these meetings, just like Ray has suggested, and we need to protest that they do the right thing by the sport of college football.
Hey, Chris, do you remember when Michigan State was the only team to beat them for 3 straight years, and they won that game? 2 years later, they played them, and after that cheating scandal was discovered by Connors, and they lost 51-0. How many games did they beat people by 50, 60 points because they knew all the plays and everything?
Yeah. Exactly. And they'll say, it didn't make that much of a difference. It does.
They embarrass people left and right.
But in the end, Ray, the main people they embarrass, they're going to find out of themselves.
Yep, that's right.
And Ray,
look
Barb,
at yourself in the mirror sooner or later.
Barb has went and she has found the address.
Good.
The address for the NCAA offices is 700 West Washington Street in Indianapolis. This is a
find out what the
thing.
hours are.
Movement.
Find out what the hours are.
Well, hell, I say we get there at 6 a.m. and just go till they leave.
Yeah. So when they go by us, they got to know that, hey, look, at these guys mean business. They want us to do the right thing. I don't want them to just give them a little slap on the wrist. Give them something hard so they'll remember it the rest of their life, that they better start using a little bit of integrity, something they'll never learn to do, but they need to. Somebody needs to hammer these big bullies. And I've called them bullies for 20 years. I've been waiting 19 years to get fair compensation for the way they treated me. They ran me out of there with my whole family down there. They took away all my season tickets. And I was just a little guy, so I couldn't file no lawsuit against them because there's no way in the hell they'd let me win in court. I know they wouldn't because they got all that money. and they thought they could get away with that with the NCAA and all college football. They got to learn that either you guys are going to start going by the rules, or we don't even want you in the league no more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I 100% am on board with that. And you know what, Ray, that was the best idea that I have had come across. That's got me the most fired up of anything I've heard tonight. And let me tell you something. It takes a pretty good idea to get me fired up as much as I am right now. Guys in the chat, tell me what you think. Has Ray got the best call tonight? Because I'll tell you, oh, here we go. Barb is all over it tonight. 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday is when the NCAA offices are open.
Is that where they're going to have it?
That's it. 700, I think it was.
Well, you know, all the lawyers for the Michigan people will have to go by you, and all them other people. At least they'll say, "Wow, we didn't know this was going to happen."
You know, and I'm telling you, it's time. It's time. We need to make this happen so that people listen, Ray. I love this idea.
Remember
Get
signs
out there. Put the signs up. Picket line style.
The Bible says God will expose sinners and people that are wicked. And these people are wicked. We need to learn them, the wicked people, to calm down and start listening to God instead of the devil.
Yeah, and Burks, my friend, Burks has given us a friendly warning that those Michigan YouTube community is going to come after us if nothing happens to Michigan. It's not happening. Burks, it's not happening. They're laying the groundwork. They've been laying the groundwork. They are going to tear them down. And I can't wait. Now, again, I don't think we know about it right away. I think the only way we know about something right away is if they go in, the NCAA lays out their case, and Michigan just folds like an accordion. That's the only way that we hear about. Well, it would depend.
I know they're not. I don't think they'll do that though.
If they've got a smoking gun,
they don't know anything about honesty and integrity. So you might as well forget that. I just don't believe anybody in that university's got any common sense left.
Yeah, you know, common sense is not a strong point.
Yeah.
But, and you know, again, we had some Michigan fans in here running their mouths in the chat again tonight. And as always, welcome to call. Welcome to call.
Get with Eric. Get with Eric and the Buckeye boys and see what you can come up with for this hearing Friday and Saturday. I'll call Eric again Thursday. Hey, God bless you. Have a good night. OH.
IO. Go Bucks. Have a great night, Ray. Man, that was hot. You know, wow, I hadn't thought about that, guys. I had not thought about that. I had not thought about just a true good old fashioned grassroots movement to go over and petition or not petition, picket the NCAA offices and demand justice on part of the college football community. That's fire. And I don't know how many people could do it. I don't know with people's work schedules. I don't know how that would work out. But oh man, that's a great idea. That's a huge idea. Barb, thank you for getting that information out to us as far as where the offices are, when the offices are open. You know, I think it's about time that Ohio State, the rest of the Big Ten, the rest of college football demands justice. And guys, you know, I think that's a great idea. So Pod Squad, do me a favor, give me a rundown. What do you think? Who had the best call tonight? We had several good ones tonight. got to hear from Lacey and Barb both for the first time tonight. That was quite an honor. Our friend Dan was on tonight. He wasn't quite as Dan as normal, but he was here. Ray, of course, was here. Sean, TG, Tyler was on again. I don't think Tyler's ever missed a show. So I'll give you guys a few minutes. Throw me a caller's name in the chat. Let's see. Or you know what? The other way we could do this is go ahead and Chris, give them all a gift. Aaron, that's a great idea, but sadly, I work in public education, my dude. And believe me, I don't do it for the money. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I am not greatly compensated for what I do. I'm fairly compensated, but not greatly compensated. So, you know what? We were quite a few super chats short of me being able to pump something out to everybody tonight. Though I would love to. Roy has Lacey as our top caller tonight. And guys, we'll keep this going for about another 2 minutes. I do have to wrap this up within about the next 2 minutes. So we will see what else you guys have. I am going to go ahead and take down the phone lines at this time. So the phone lines are closed. Okay, Banks, of course. We got us another Team Up North fan who just doesn't want to deal with reality. Your program is guilty of the worst scandal in sports history. The entire Harbaugh tenure was nothing but one giant scandal. From cheeseburgers to recruiting violations on the parts of assistants to the greatest cheating scandal in the history of sports to potentially having played ineligible players to having assistant coaches trying to hook up with underage girls in Walmart's parking lot to the computer hacking scandal, the destruction of evidence on the part of multiple coaches on the staff, to the cover up by the university. If there was a textbook definition of lack of institutional control, my dude, you guys have defined it. And of course, this would come after the phone lines are shut down, because Banks family, I would have been more than happy to take a call and we could have discussed this, much like the friends we had in the chat earlier. We have some great keyboard warriors out there who like to get on there and type their little fingers away, but aren't even tough enough to be telephone tough guys. As TG likes to say, they're afraid to step in the paint. So, guys, you know, we're going to let this play out. We know what's going to happen. Ultimately, you know what's going to happen. Sadly, you're just afraid to face the truth. So, guys, we are here. We are here every Monday night at 8 o'clock. We are here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. We are here every Tuesday night. We've got Sean and TG here. On Sundays, we have our roundtable show. Guys, we're not hard to find. Tell you what, like, subscribe, ring that bell. You'll know when we're going to drop the new stuff. We happily invite you to call and discuss. But sadly, it seems like the only person in your fan base that has the stones to do that is the one that you guys all want to turn on. So, guys, that being said, we are going to wrap up the show for this evening. It's been we were a little over 2 hours again. Guys, I'm happy to do these shows as long as you guys keep calling. And, it was great to hear from 2 new callers. And so far, you know what? If some of you don't want to put your vote for who won on the chat, that's okay. Since we only had 1 vote, what I am going to ask you to do is to go ahead and if you have me on Facebook or X, go ahead and drop it into my private messenger. If you want to go ahead and email the podcast at the OHIO podcast at gmail.com and put in the best caller. That way we can make sure to get out this prize, because I hate to do it with just 1 vote, guys. And don't get me wrong, Lacey's call was great. Appreciated it much. But, I'd really like to see more than 1 vote. So I understand some of you may not want to hurt the feelings of some of our fellow pod squatters, and I respect that. So just hit us up that way with that vote. What I'll do is I will leave that open for 24 hours. And then that way we can make sure we contact whoever the winner is. So that being said, until next time, OHIO, go Bucks. See you all tomorrow night on the Buckeye Lounge.